Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 156. We're going to be talking about a meat-eating dinosaur today, and that meat-eating dinosaur is Dilophosaurus. And so this is an artist rendition of Dilophosaurus, and I think this is a really cool image of Dilophosaurus. So hopefully you guys can check out some pretty cool images of Dilophosaurus. So some information about Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus, the name means two-crested reptile or lizard. Length 23 feet or 7 meters. Its height 5 feet or 1.5 meters. Weight 800 to 1,000 pounds. Lived 200 to 193 million years ago in the early Jurassic period. And fossils are found in Arizona in the United States, and it was described by Wells in 1954. But even though Wells thought it was actually a megalosaurus, back in 1954, but it was renamed Dilophosaurus back in the 1970s. So some images right here. So here's the map of the United States on the upper left corner, and Arizona is right there in the southwestern part of the United States. I've been there myself, and where Dilophosaurus fossils are actually found is pretty much in the northeast corner of Arizona, and so there's where you're also going to find some dinosaur tracks as well. And they're probably some of the larger three-toed ones are actually probably from Dilophosaurus. And here's the size chart of Dilophosaurus, so it's larger than a dog, and so this kind of dog would actually be touching about the knee, right around the knee of Dilophosaurus. But Dilophosaurus is nearly the same height as a human being. And so, in here is a skeletal illustration by Scott Hartman. And so, majority of the skeleton of Dilophosaurus is found. The holotype specimen is in Canada. Believe it or not, it is actually in Canada. I would love to go see this fossil, the holotype specimen, at some point. And I know there has been another type of Dilophosaurus fossil that has been found, but I'm not totally sure like how large it really is. And so here's a 3D model of a Dilophosaurus skull. And so I'm going to get into a little bit more about the skull in the next slide, but you actually will see the reason why Dilophosaurus was named that two-crested reptile is because it has two crests on the skull. So more information about Dilophosaurus. It belongs to its own family group, the Dilophosauridae. So the Dilophosauridae, those are the theropod dinosaurs that are actually going to have crests right on their skull. And so, like say the dinosaur I'll talk about later on, that's a close cousin of it. Some scientists have possibly thought that maybe Centaurus could be a Dilophosauridae, but later was found out that Centaurus was actually a close relative of Dilophosaurus, so that's one thing. And Dilophosaurus was actually one of the first large theropods, or meat-eating dinosaurs. So once the end of the Triassic has actually happened, the Triassic extinction, dinosaurs grew really large, started to grow large and really take over the planet. And so that's the reason why Dilophosaurus was actually very successful for its time. And so, and of course, the name Dilophosaurus means two-crested lizard. It has two crests on the skull. And so those crests are actually mainly for display purposes, not used for combat, because they're too thin for combat. So they're mainly going to be display structures. So probably the males have much larger ones, whereas the females actually probably have a tad bit smaller ones. And another thing about Dilophosaurus, it's got 4 fingers in the hands, not 3. So that means it's a primitive theropod. So it's actually one of the primitive theropod dinosaurs. And so Ceratosaurus is also like that as well. And so when you actually look at early theropod dinosaurs, like say Dilophosaurus, Dilophosaurus, those types of dinosaurs, they're going to have 4 fingers on their hands. And so they probably had to use them at some point. And Dilophosaurus has got a notch near the tip of the skull in the upper jaw. And so scientists are still trying to figure out what is really that notch really for. It could possibly to help catch prey, to hopefully keep it still in the jaws while the teeth do some really nasty slashing wounds. And of course, Dilophosaurus has got a close cousin in China called Sinosaurus. Originally, Sinosaurus was possibly another species of Dilophosaurus, so they actually did name it Dilophosaurus, but then it was figured out that the Dilophosaurus that they say was actually a new Dilophosaurus species was actually a dinosaur that was already discovered, and that was actually Sinosaurus. And so, yeah, Sinosaurus is a close relative of Dilophosaurus. The environment and where Dilophosaurus actually lived in, it was warm and humid. There were a lot of trees, cycads, and ferns. Of course, no grass. Flowers didn't exist at that time either, so it was actually kind of just mostly what you're going to see is a lot of trees. The open habitat would have been a little bit more rocky. And of course, you got some rivers and lakes, so that's where you're going to see a lot of animals is being near rivers and lakes. And of course, there was other animals around during that time as well. There was insects, amphibians, reptiles, early mammals, pterosaurs, and even dinosaurs. And so there are dinosaurs that were living around the same time as Dilophosaurus. The prey that Dilophosaurus would be going after is the sauropodomorphs, like, say, Ankylosaurus or some other types of sauropodomorphs that were actually around during that time. Can possibly eat fish. Possibly that's what that notch is for, to actually catch fish. Because the teeth can actually be able to catch fish, but they're still curved. They're still curving backwards towards the center of the jaw, and so that means is that it's going after prey that's actually trying to get away from it. And so, fish is probably a small portion of the Dilophosaurus' diet. Then, of course, there's small reptiles and mammals that it could actually go after and eat. And, of course, it would eat carrion. That's what a lot of meat eaters actually do. They're opportunists. They'll actually eat both live prey and also dead prey. And whenever there's a carcass laying around near a Dilophosaurus' territory, they'll take it. They're not going to ignore it and actually just go after something that's alive. So the extinction of Dilophosaurus is mostly due to climate change. Pangea was still breaking apart, so there will be a lot of volcanic eruptions and also all types of earthquakes. And of course, the plants changed, and then once those plants changed, you got new herbivores, and they were getting larger, so the prey species were getting larger. And of course, when you have the prey getting larger, that means new larger theropods would actually be coming in. So Dilophosaurus did actually become obsolete around 193 million years ago because of the fact is this. New predators would actually be able to knock out Dilophosaurus in the food chain. And Dilophosaurus is used to being the top predator. And so once you're no longer the top predator, and you're trying to compete with the same food sources, you're more likely to not be able to survive much longer because of new, larger predators. And so here's a map of the early Jurassic, 195 million years ago. So where Dilophosaurus was living is right around there in the southwestern part of North America, right there. And you can see the Atlantic Ocean is still kind of getting wider, and so around 193 million years ago, or over 190 million years ago, Laurasia was breaking apart from Gondwana land, and so that's where you actually will see the separation of those continents. So the next episode would actually be on July 9th, on 2020, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Or go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comments section. Remember, don't send me your questions on Messenger because I do not read questions on Messenger. And also for YouTubers out there, like the videos, subscribe to the channels, hit stop on that notification bell so that we can get up to date with every single weekly episode of my channel. And also, feel free to drop your questions in the comments section because I do read them all, and I actually recommend that you guys actually do that. So, and I do read all your questions. And also keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. Notice for younger people out there to make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And let's all thank the doctors and the nurses and EMTs that are doing a fantastic job and working really, really hard during this pandemic. And also for all of you, be safe. Wear a mask in a public place because we want to make sure that we limit the spread of the virus. And that's what we all need to do is be smart, be safe, and I know it's hard to wear the mask, but you know what? You're gonna have to get you. It's gonna. A lot of people are getting used to that, and so that's pretty much what you gotta do. And so, and I do wear a mask in public places, and so make sure you all do the same thing as well. That's it for now. And I'll see you guys next time.